What's up, guys? Today we are going to look at how having an HTTPS connection for your website will help you and your customers securely send data over the wire. So let's look at what we feel is the typical flow of a browser and server's request cycle. So here we have our browser which sends a request to, let's say, one of our EC2 instance where we have our application running. Okay, so for simplicity, let's just assume that our client or the browser makes a login request. A username and a password is being sent, and our application is taking that request, processing it, running all kinds of code to check whether the credentials are correct or not. It checks in the database and all those stuff, and then the server responds back a response. Now this is what we think. However, what happens is actually when the browser sends the request, right, many times those requests are being routed through different kinds of firewalls or proxies and whatnot. So what can happen is when the client has sent the data, right, when my username and password has left the browser, it needs to travel through all these firewalls and proxies and whatnot before it can reach the server. And during this transition, there are chances that the password can be seen if, for example, someone is looking at the traffic going through the firewall or through the proxies. For example, in my office where I work, we have a firewall which is used to kind of control what traffic goes where and other routing requirements. However, we know that those who have access to the firewall has access to see all the requests going from each and every individual's machine out into the internet. So which means if I am not using an HTTPS connection, there is a possibility that the person who is looking at the logs might find some sensitive information which is being transferred from my client browser to the server. And now imagine if that's your email and password, or maybe your bank account password. I mean, it can be risky, right? And that's where HTTPS comes in. So to explain the requirement, what I have done is I'm running a Laravel application on Laragon. It allows me to run those applications locally, both on HTTP and HTTPS. So you can see here I have an HTTPS connection, right? And it has a certificate. It says it's a valid certificate, right? And the same application is running on HTTP as well. So now, as I told you, we need some kind of a proxy or a firewall which can allow us to look at the requests. These will be the requests going from our browser to the Laravel application which is installed on my Laragon server. So let's see how we can do that. So to get that request on a Windows machine, I am using Charles. Charles is a web debugging proxy. It is available on this charlesproxy.com website. You can download it. It's available for free on Windows. It's a 30-day trial version which I'm using. If you want, you can get the license as well. But I think for the demonstration purpose, I should be able to be inside the trial and get the requirements done. So some important things to know: it is recording the request, and I can filter stuff here. Why I am saying this? Because any website that we visit, that request will be stored here, or it will be captured. So let's just see. First of all, I will try to log into this application with my credentials through this login page. This is the non-HTTPS version. So this is nothing special. I have just installed Laravel and Jetstream so that I get this default scaffolding. And now let me enter my username and password. Okay, I have added the credentials. Let me open this up over here, clear everything. And now I'll just hit login. So there are some requests to font.gstatic. These are for the Google Fonts, which is getting loaded over here. But the most important part is this. So it says there are 3 requests inside here. 3 were completed, TLS handshakes 0, and quite a few things. Requests, responses, everything. And now if I expand this, I'll see there are some JavaScript files, which is fine, app.js. But the most important piece is this. It says this is a post request, some timing and all those stuff, but the content here is really alarming, right? My email and password, this is the actual password which I typed in my login form, and this is visible. So as I told you, if we go back to our diagram, my client here made a request to the server. However, when this data was going through the firewall or the proxy, in our case, Charles is working as a proxy, I was able to look at the network data and see that, okay, there is an email which is reachme@amitavroy.com and the password is password, and it could have been anything else. Okay, so this information is visible, it's not encrypted. So this is a big problem. Now, how do we solve this? Let's just close this application. I'll just log out, close it, clean, and now I'm on the HTTPS version. Now let's log in here again. One major difference now is you can see that the URLs are not visible. So yeah, the trial version seems to have some prompts which you'll have to go with. After all, I'm using it for free in my trial version, so yeah. But you can see the content or the text is not at all visible. This is purely rubbish. I have no idea what that means. And if I clear it out, and now if I try to enter my username and password again, in our case, the email was my email address and password was obviously password. And now if I hit login, again, I have those 3 calls here, 2 to the Google Fonts. And in here, there are 3 requests, but none of them are giving me any meaningful information. I mean, in here, I don't see anywhere my email address being written or passed through in this or even this. Even the URLs are not at all clear. And this is the beauty. Now you may say, that, okay, if I do like something like inspect element, right? So let me go to the login page again and I type in the password. And now if I log in, okay, what happened? I think it should be inside all. Login. Okay. It's a post request. Where did it go? Oh yes. So you can see it. You might feel that, oh, I can see the data over here, even on the HTTPS version. But you need to understand that this is your network tab. Browser is able to show it because when you had entered your password in this field, browser still has that, right? And that's the data which browser is showing to you. But that doesn't mean that particular information is being passed on over the wire unencrypted. So the browser shows you the data in the network tab because it gets it before encrypting it through the SSL certificate, right? However, once it leaves the browser, any data which is being sent is encrypted. That's what we saw in that strange looking data which we have been sending. So you can see everywhere. I mean, we were able to see in the network tab the username and password, but actually in the proxy, Charles Proxy, we don't see any information which makes sense. And that's how an HTTPS certificate really helps in keeping your customers' privacy and security of the data, right? And now, so the question is, how do you get certificates? I think with Let's Encrypt and CloudFlare, HTTPS certificates are practically free for you. I strongly recommend that you look at Let's Encrypt, which is a non-profit, certificate authority, which means basically you can install their application and you can generate SSL certificates on your server, which works for a certain number of months and you need to renew it after some time. For example, on my own website, I have a certificate from Let's Encrypt, right? It has a validity till the 10th of January 2021 and it will automatically renew. So yes, although on my website there is nothing from the user going on to the server, but still I think that lock makes sense, because tomorrow if I want to do anything where I am trying to get user information, they will know that what they are entering is going to be encrypted. I hope these concepts are clear to you and you will feel the need to have your application on HTTPS once it goes to production, because you have the ability to get even free SSL certificates. And so if after all these things, if you are running your application on production without HTTPS, it's a bad practice. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this concept is clear to you. If you like the video, do click on the thumbs up icon, share this video, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.